Now, we've been talking about strategy because the driver has to stay there till they fill that tank up with 19.5 gallons of Sunoco race fuel. Everyone will change 4 tires under these green flag stops.
Kurt Busch is in. Again, these are scheduled pit stops. Back to Matt.
One of Kurt Busch's favorite racetracks here at Phoenix. The last time they took on 4 tires, the car was loose, still on the free side for the 51. Air pressure change. They were talking about it, waiting on that fuel, and he's finally away.
Well, there are 2 components to the fuel question. One is, do you have enough fuel? And 2, are these new electric pumps that are part of the engine management fuel injection system getting all that fuel to the engine? Krista.
Matt Kenseth saying his car was shaking a bit. They thought they might have a fuel pressure problem. Their plan was to come in around lap 194. Matt said, okay, I think we're okay, but if he comes in early, that's the issue.
That would be 11 laps from now.
And when your tires start to wear, and here comes Mark Martin on pit road along with Harvick. Down to Krista.
Speaking of fuel mileage, the question for the 29 of Kevin Harvick, how far can we push it? They had planned on coming in right now. Kevin took left side tires back on lap 112. It's a 4-tire change. They said make sure you get it full of fuel. Steve?
Krista, pit stall number 1 for Mark Martin. He said the balance on his car was great, but it has gotten tight as the tires wear out. Mark Martin stops safely into his pit stall. They're going to take a little bit of air out of the right front tire. And again, his car had gotten just a little bit tight on the number 55 of Mark Martin. Krista.
Joey Logano has steadily improved his race car throughout the race. The last stop in, he said, I need to drive in deeper. They've been a lot better every stop they've made it. Joey Logano saying he was chattering the right front a bit as the team goes to work on the car, making a 4-tire change for Joey Logano.
Pablo Montoya stopped and got 4. Here comes Tony Stewart, the reigning Sprint Cup champion, onto pit road along with other cars. Greg Biffle is in as well as we cycle through green flag pit stops. Matt?
And Stewart, who's raced here in 6 different types of racing machines, the outside pole center brings his car to a stop. He was asking where they were as well on the fuel cycle. The 16 of Greg Biffle is in. Stewart still extremely tight on entry to turn 1, and then center on exit down in 3 and 4. Chassis adjustment already completed on the 16 of Biffle. His car just way too loose but getting better. Meanwhile, the 2 car of Brad Keselowski, he's coming down pit road as well. His car calling for a slight air pressure change. They've made a lot of headway on this machine here today.
Dave Blaney is in, and here comes Denny Hamlin, who picked up the race lead. Keselowski getting 4 tires.
Just to go to show you how much brake these drivers are using, the front wheels on Brad Keselowski's car when he came in, they were black with all that brake dust. The fresh wheels are painted pretty yellow.
And Larry, I'd like to stay out as long as I like to see what everybody else is going to do. I'd like to be like one of the last guys on pit road so I can decide what I need to do.
Matt?
And the 11 of Hamlin, chassis adjustment already completed. They tried to stretch it as long as they could. 4 tires for Hamlin. Krista?
Jeff Gordon also making him proud on the racetrack. Last stop, he said, I need to free it up in the middle of the turns. Do not do it with the track bar. You don't see any changes being made in the back of the car. The team going to work on the right side, coming around to the left. It's a 4-tire change for Jeff Gordon.
And importantly, Gordon stayed out on the track to lead a lap. The first lap he's led today, picking up a bonus point. Here comes Matt Kenseth to pit road along with Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman. Krista.
Well, Matt Kenseth was saying he was so loose at the start of the run, he couldn't keep up with guys like Kevin Harvick. The race car started to come around. Matt coming in for his stop right now. Also 4 tires for the 17. No fuel pressure problem. They were able to make it to their scheduled distance.
And the comments from Jimmy Johnson, he's saying the car is now free. It feels like it has stalled out. He said, I'm really having to protect my entry into the corners. They're going to take 4 tires. Dick?
Carl Edwards started in the 24th spot, worked his way up to the 12th position, and said the car was only half as bad as it was at the start of the race. He's going to come in for an adjustment, tires and fuel.
Travis Kvapil in and out. Here comes Regan Smith and David Stremme onto the pit lane.
Now we have cycled through all of the drivers that made that stop earlier. Dick Berggren, how about Regan Smith?
Well, Regan Smith started in the 3rd position, Larry, and just sort of went back, and the chassis simply has not been good for him. They've had chatters in the car, and everybody seems to be able to get by him on the bottom. Smith cannot hold that bottom lane.
Marcus Ambrose coming in just in front of Smith, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in as well. Krista?
Yeah, it's been an interesting race for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They had that tire rub earlier on their last stop. They were one of the cars that came in on lap 134 for left side tires. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr., who carried the banner for Hendrick Motorsports last week in Daytona, coming down pit lane for his stop.
That leaves 7 drivers on track who stopped earlier, led by Jeff Burton in the number 31 Chevrolet. Martin Truex, Eric Almirola, Bobby Labonte, then Rudeman, McMurray, and Allmendinger.
And the reason these drivers right here, like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch in the 11-18, they're battling hard because they're 1 lap down to leader Jeff Burton. Remember, if we get a caution, the first driver 1 lap down gets back on the lead lap. Right now, that's Mark Martin in that 55 car trying to get the lap back the hard way by our leader Jeff Burton in the 31.
Fresh tires against worn tires in the case of Burton.
Got to be careful when you're in Burton's position because these guys are going to be closing fast. You see Mark gets by. Here comes Keselowski in the 2 car. They'll run over you when they got those fresh tires on.
Bobby Labonte and David Rudeman have also made pit stops as we continue under green in Phoenix. 117 laps to go. Now Martin Truex also has not pitted. He's the 2nd place car to Burton. So now just 4 remain on the racetrack. Burton, Truex, Jamie McMurray, and A.J. Allmendinger. Brendan Gaughan in the pit lane.
And with 116 laps to go for all of the drivers, the ones that's pitted and the ones that's not, it is a 1-stop race to get to the end of lap 312.
Well, we'll see how that strategy plays out for Jeff Burton, the senior driver on the Richard Childress team. We're heard is coming pit side this time and will surrender the lead to Martin Truex. That lead was about 1.3 seconds as Truex flashes past. And it'll be the first time that the New Jersey driver has led today.
He's been fast, Martin Truex Jr. in the 56 all weekend long. Actually got into the wall a little bit at the end of that first practice, but they repaired the car. Matt.
Burton pleased with the 31 machine. He said it's free in the middle of 3 and 4. He just needs a little more rear grip on exit, which was really the most positive part of the car early on. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires. His spotter, Brett Griffin, reminding him, remember, you have issues with your tack. You don't have any lights. Watch your speed.
Thanks, Matt. Now let's talk Truex here, because he's about 0.8 of a second slower than the fastest cars on the racetrack. Do you stay out and protect that lead? You come in and get some fresh Goodyears.
We've seen it over and over again. You got to get tires on the. You can't sit there and lose this much time because now when you pit, you're going to come out that much further behind. So I'd be coming to pit road pretty darn quick.
McMurray in 2nd with some crash damage. Likewise, A.J. Allmendinger in 3rd. They are hoping that a caution comes out and they can pit without losing all that track time.
That's the game that they're playing. Now there you see A.J. Allmendinger in the 22. He hits pit road. McMurray and Allmendinger, a lot of damage, really nothing to lose gambling there.
Paul Menard also in the pit lane. A lot of crash damage on his car, same incident.
And you know, historically this place, we're under a long green run, and that's kind of how this place goes. We'll probably have a couple of cautions late in the race, so whatever you're going to do, you better get it right now.
Yeah, you may only get one more chance to adjust on that race car.
That's it, buddy.
So with these 2 pitting, that leaves Truex and McMurray out on the racetrack. Then Kevin Harvick, the first of the cars that pitted beginning at about lap 184.
And these long runs like this, Mike, that's when you start to have brake trouble. And you'll hear guys talking about vibration. It's not the tires, it's the brakes. Once the pads wear and the rotors warp a little bit, when you hit the brake, the car wants to vibrate.
How long can Martin Truex hold on before making the pit stop? We'll find out. 207 laps complete. As you have a look at Carl Edwards in 19th place. 1 lap ago, Martin Truex surrendered the lead. Jamie McMurray led a lap, and now he comes pit side, and that will complete the cycle of green flag stops.